Ahoy Captains, it's Vaz again with another video from World of Warships Legends. And today we have a Let's Play video for you. We're in the GJ Maerker. I kept saying JG Maerker and I had to redo it. Guess that's what happens when you're tired and intoxicated. But I'm not a professional, so who cares? Okay, for this one we're on the good old map Sleeping Giants in a game of domination. And we got a rare match for you here today. And no, we don't have a blue team full of 9 players who aren't potatoes. Not that rare. What I'm talking about is a solo warrior medal. And we'll talk more about it as we go along, but our team gets complete control of this match, and then they try to throw it all away. And somehow, at the end, we're able to squeak out a win for our team, with the odds stacked against us. So stick around, you're going to want to see that. And we're also going to talk about the ship itself, the Maerker, and this alternate destroyer line for the Germans, and why they're so popular amongst some of the player base. I'm pretty partial to them myself. What I'm going to talk about now, though, is the commander. I want to get this out of the way because things are going to get a little fast and furious, as they can sometimes on this map, which is why I like this map. What I'm trying to do right now is take on the flanking cruiser role / destroyer hunter role for our team. I prefer this setup with the 3 caps a lot better than I think the more common setup is the 4 caps. And I don't like that one as much. It leads to a little bit more passive gameplay. But yeah, the commander we're using on these ships is Eric Bay. And we've changed up some of the inspirations here. We are using Mordov and Sa Jinbing. And the skills we're using on him are Observant Rage, Look at Me Now, Twist and Track, Torpedo Royale, and for the legendary skill we're using Unstoppable. Through Jinbing, as it's correctly pronounced, on there, due to the minimum ricochet angle of your destroyer's AP shells inspiration that he gives you, because these destroyers have improved penetration angles for their AP. It's kind of their gimmick. I'm about to show it off here a little bit, as we're about to get into the thick of it here. We got a Brandenburg pushing in. We got the Summers here, and look at that on the right. We got the Velos. So we're a little outnumbered here. We got a couple of ships backing us up, but it's time to pop some smoke and disengage until we can get ourselves into a better position so we're not the sole focus of their entire team. I was just going to start talking about the AP shells on this destroyer line. Also pertains to the Elbing, the premium tier 8 ship, and also the ZF6. Didn't know that was included in this group. I did look it up. That's the type of hard-hitting research I do for you guys. Also quickly mention that we got 2 torpedoes on that Brandenburg, and he's going to flood out, and that'll be our first kill of this match. Now, what the improved AP penetration angles allow you to do is to actually use AP pretty much all the time. What that means, in other words, is that the AP shells have a lower chance to ricochet. Now, unfortunately, all this information is completely hidden from us. For some reason, Wargaming is completely adverse to teaching people how to play their game. But some cracks loose over in the PC version have deciphered the code and figured out a lot of this information and put it up on the WoW's PC wiki page. So I'm pretty much going to go off of that when I try and explain this. And I'll try to explain it in the simplest terms as I possibly can as we get back into the match here. Unfortunately, we had to go all the way around that one island there. The Maerker doesn't have a very good turning circle, unfortunately. Although it is a destroyer, it kind of moves like a little cruiser. Now, when it comes to ricochet, or bouncing as some people call it, most ships will get AP pens when the enemy ship is at a 45-degree angle, right? When it's flat facing you. Broadside, as a lot of folks like to call it. And when enemy ships start to angle towards you, now they're turning to, like, say, a 55-degree angle to you, your shells are going to start bouncing. They're not going to get pens. Now, of course, that doesn't take overmatch into account. That's a whole nother thing. Now, for every ship in the game, Baseline is 45 degrees where ricochet chance begins, and 60 degrees where the ricochet chance is guaranteed. Well, when it comes to the alternative German destroyer line, the ricochet chance doesn't begin until 60 degrees, and the guaranteed ricochet isn't until 67.5. So, what all that means is that if an enemy ship is angled towards or away from you, you can still get penetrations using your AP shells. Now, why is that advantageous, you ask? Well, armor piercing shells do more damage. And typically, when you're going to shoot AP at another destroyer, you're just going to get overpens. And overpen damage on destroyers is capped. More hidden info for you, thanks Wargaming. And AP overpen damage ain't going to be as good as using good old HE. Fortunately, we don't get to demonstrate what we're talking about in this situation here. The enemy Summers has got quite the rudder on him, and the Veloz is flat broadside to us, and he decides to run into a torp before we can test out our theory here. But hey, that's our second kill of the match, and as soon as the Salem goes down, we're going to be in complete control of this match. But hold on, folks. The blue team forgot to get vaccinated against win too hard itis, and we're about to catch a real bad case of it. Now, back to what we were talking about with regards to the AP on these destroyers. Now, normally, if a destroyer shooting AP at you, all you gotta do is angle, and it'll just bounce all the shells. And you don't gotta worry about anything. Or if you're broadside, it's just gonna overpen you, and you ain't gotta worry about that either. Well, with these German alternative destroyers, if the enemy destroyer is slightly angled, these German shells are still gonna penetrate, they're not gonna bounce. And if that enemy destroyer is angled enough, those shells also won't overpen, and they'll do full AP pen damage. And that's what makes these destroyers extremely dangerous. When you start getting full AP pen damage on an enemy destroyer, oh boy, you can take them out quick. I hope that all kind of makes sense. It's a bit of a fine line between the angling and whatnot. But if you stick with AP, you're gonna see the results. And not only do those improved penetration angles help you just absolutely obliterate destroyers, but the gun caliber on these things, the 150mm guns, it's gonna help you get penetrations against cruisers and battleships. You can citadel the ever living crap out of both light cruisers and heavy cruisers. Not so much super cruisers. You know, things like Stalingrad or Alaska. You gotta aim for the upper belt on those ones. And same with battleships too. Aim for the upper belt or the superstructure. You can really farm some damage off of ships like that using the AP. And that's why Saw Jing Bangs, or let's call him Saw for short, that's why Saw's inspiration can be so deadly. He can add up to 8 degrees of minimum ricochet angle to your destroyer's AP. And that takes it up from 60 to 68. Like, holy crap. You know, there are other ships and other lines in the game that have improved ricochet angles. For example, American cruisers, most of them have a 60-degree chance, same as these destroyers. You know, the Russian cruisers, all of the British cruisers. You know, the list goes on and on. This is really the only destroyer line that has access to this sort of perk. So yeah, if you haven't tried this sort of thing out yet, give it a try. If you like playing destroyers, you're gonna have some real fun. And speaking of fun, where did our team go? Oh, where has our team gone now? Oh, where could they be? Most of them have decided to throw. That's fine. Little did I know, is that we also had a St. Louis disconnect. And that really sets us up to get screwed over. So essentially, we're 3 versus 4 right now, but of course, I didn't know that until the end of the match. I'm thinking we're still way ahead in points, so we should be okay. I'm gonna see if I can hunt down the enemy destroyer. In the meantime, the two enemy battleships, is Bismarck, piece of shit, and Vanguard, that were hiding behind an island the entire match, have made themselves known now. They've shown themselves finally. That's a bitch mark, as I'm gonna call him for the rest of the match. He sent me some hate mail after the match. Can you believe it? A Bismarck hiding behind an island for the first 10 minutes of a match is sending someone who gets a solo warrior hate mail. Like, give your head a shake, kid. It's just really comical. And look at that. We get a torp hit on him, and now he's flooding because he's also a dumbass that damage cons whatever the hell he damage con. Probably a single fire, maybe something else completely useless. So that's just gonna be free damage for us. But now we're in a bit of a tight spot here. Now I think it's a good time to talk about winning too hard and maybe what you can do to prevent your team from throwing a match where you're way ahead. Like, still, look, we're in really good shape here. We're 3 ships to 4. Of course, one of those ships, keep in mind, is AFK. So really, it's only 2 versus 4. But I'm thinking, okay, we've still got a big ass points lead. Maybe I can sneak into this cap. But this Masashi, I saw him get a high caliber earlier. He seems to be knowing sort of what he's doing. You know, actually, I don't really need this cap. We're way ahead in points, and he's gonna push me out of it eventually, anyways. I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe now's a good time to try and distract him. We have a battleship teammate really close to us. I wish I would have checked his health first. That was a mistake on my part. But I figured he's going to spot for me, and let's farm some damage and try and get this Masashi off the board if we can. Launch some torps to hopefully get him to show his broadside to our enemy battleship there. And then there goes our cruiser, our AFK cruiser, the St. Louis. He gets dev struck by the enemy destroyer. So we know where the enemy DD is. He's over in the west. I think he just flipped the Alpha Cap. And now we're in trouble. We are the last hope. Not sure which line played there, but it's just down to us. And this Masashi's pushing us. He's within our detectability range. Thank God for our smoke screen. Oh boy, we need to get the hell out of here. So basically, that's about it. We're just gonna hightail it out and sailed on to victory. We do still have the Charlie Cat because, again, those two dumbass battleships that were hiding behind an island the entire match, they should have been in that Charlie Cap. If they would have gone into that Charlie Cap basically a lot sooner, they could have flipped it and they actually would have won this match. But we're just gonna be able to squeak this out. I was not expecting to have to do this. This was not on my bingo card at the beginning of the match, especially when things were going so well. But that's how it goes sometimes. And so, what you want to do really when your team's up that high, you kind of want to sit back a little bit. You don't want to push too hard. The way that a couple of our ships kind of push themselves into the middle there, rather than taking cover near the end. The last couple of ships that we lost, I think it was a couple battleships. They probably shouldn't have put themselves in that position. Who knows? Like I said, I wasn't really paying attention to my teammates. That's not really something that you can do when you're playing solo. If you're paying attention to your teammates too much, you're probably just gonna frustrate yourself. So what you want to do is sort of, have an escape route. At least in a destroyer, it's a lot easier. You got your detectability to keep you concealed, and you have usually have a smoke screen to disengage. And if you're a cruiser or a battleship, keep the same strategy that you had at the beginning of the match. Keep close to an island. Always have some sort of island to seal you off from crossfires. Don't get too cocky and push out into the open and then get stuck in a crossfire. Well, captains, there you go. We got their solo warrior and the GJ Maerker. Been a long time since I've got a solo warrior. Those are rare medals indeed. Here we are on the end screen with the respectable almost 90,000 in damage, 2 kills, and of course our solo warrior medal. This match wasn't that long ago, so we got our new assisted fisting ribbons there. No handjob medal though. Though I do have a couple of matches with handjob medals in them I'd like to show you guys hopefully soon. So do keep that in mind. And then on the team screen, we're way at the top of the leaderboard, and the bitch mark is in the middle. He got some garbage time XP there. He was mopping up our limping teammates there that were actually trying to do something rather than hide behind an island in a friggin' German battleship all match. What a joke. Well, guys, that wraps up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, take care of yourselves and do what makes you happy.